Widowster, you're live on the last Respawn show. How are you this evening? Widowster, can you hear me? Hello, hello, you're live on the show. Maybe they're fighting crime right now. They could be. Hopefully the fast food mafia didn't get to them. Oh, did we lose connection? Widowster, can you hear us?
Back again. How you going?
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the last Respawn show.
Hi. How you guys today? This your Widowster here. How you guys today? How you guys this evening?
Well, I hope they're doing good. They're very excited. So how about you tell the folks watching now a little about yourself? You used to be a former real superhero.
Oh yes. Pretty much mainly what I do is I pretty much just go out in my city and stuff. Just suit up and everything. Try to help out the homeless and pretty much just do whatever I can to help out the community and make the community a better place, however possible. It's not one of those things where it's like a very serious menial task. It's just one of those things where I just enjoy just helping the people just around there and just seeing the people being happy and inspiring others to do the very same thing and to be themselves. So that's really much the main on-set goal for this whole thing that I'm pretty much doing as far as helping with people. But aside from that, I pretty much just make and mix music. So I'm pretty much more like like a DJ, entertainer, and so forth, etc. So
Ah,
it's like a lot of range things that I pretty much do within the guise of actually, saying helping out people and saying just trying to be there for my community no matter what it is.
wow. And and you're retired, correct?
Not necessarily. It's just I've been on
Oh,
like a little bits of hiatus and stuff, just trying to get little things done, in my life, just a little bit of reflections and pretty much just been on and off, just out in the city because I've been exploring other cities as well and also checking out other places. So it's
oh,
just one of those things where I'm like, okay, so this is what's going on.
oh. You're still kind of doing it, but you're kind of on the low key.
Oh yes, pretty much so.
Are you in trouble? Are people after you?
I don't think necessarily. Gladly not. Not really necessarily. I just been chilling back. Just trying to figure out the little things in life, because sometimes when we do the things that we do in life, we just try to enjoy it as much as we can until we actually realize what we're doing it for. So sometimes we just have to take that step back, take a deep breath, and saying see the whole bigger picture from there, and see if it's something that we want to continue doing or not. It's just one of those things where like, okay, might as well just keep on doing it. We're doing so good so far. Why not? Why stop there?
Right, right.
So, that's pretty much the good course from there.
What inspired you to suit up and patrol?
Uh, just mainly for my own particular reasons. Mainly I kind of started off a whole different persona around at the time as a whole ninja at the time. I didn't really like it. It was very chaotic. Then afterwards, I just end up changing just a whole new persona and end up changing everything. So now I just end up going to events, birthday parties. Then I started going out more, just checking things out, from different perspectives, and try and do different things that's like wouldn't put me in a situation where I'm putting myself in trouble. So it's just I pretty much just had to do a lot of provisions in life in order for me to get to where I am today, and hopefully for people to strive to do the right thing as well as be themselves.
Awesome.
That's the main thing I pretty much would strive for, especially when it comes with change.
I like this guy's positivity.
Yeah, of course you would. We got some questions in the chat here. People want to know: have you actually fought crime, and if so, what crimes have you fought?
I do. I have one that I pretty much highlight, which I hate highlighting, is one back in January of 2017. I wouldn't necessarily nowadays we couldn't even necessarily call crimes. It's just we call it crimes because that's what's just happening at the moment of time, and that's what we can really call it an occurrence right then. But there was assault between a woman and a guy, and luckily I was around there to be there to try to talk with them, but then it still kind of got out of hand regardless, and I ended up protecting the woman in that situation, at least till the police came around. Little lucky me. And after that, gave in the report and went on about my day. Um, then it's pretty much I check out, stay out far at night, and mainly the most people I mainly deal with is like sometimes a lot of this car hijackers, people that mainly try
Ah,
to start fights, or like um panhandlers that try to like guise themselves as like homeless people that really in need of money and need of help, but really, what I'm saying, they really trying to pimp you out of your money. So it's like yeah, that's really what's going on in like for most of the time. But like really there's a lot of stuff that's even deeper than that. It's just I try to do as much as I can as possible within the little things that I have. Like if I have enough to get the job done, I'll definitely would do it. But even other than that, I try not to overstep the bounds of what's to be done, because there's other people that are able to do that.
right,
So
right.
before I sometimes just jump in too much, I always try to think of myself, what I'm saying, what can I do, and that's really the main thing there. So you see these things where what I'm saying, I'm doing a lot, but what I'm saying, I really try not to engage most of the time. It's just right there in front of me, so I have no choice but to at least do something, and that's why I want people to actually do at least, or at least call 911 or
Right.
something, so things like that don't just further progress to what they are. It's just but it's up to us.
I,
That's the whole key thing to
I
that.
agree with you. I agree with you. You are a beacon of light, sir. I have to say, you are a beacon.
Oh, thank you so much.
I want to go back to that crime you stopped with, the altercation between the man and the woman, because I did some deep diving into your social media.
You're a goddamn stalker, David.
Okay, and I saw you suffered an injury from that because you got in front of the woman and the man punched you in the chest, and you had a popped blood vessel.
Yeah, I went to all of my urgent care because later, like after like hanging out with a friend of mine that basically was just in need of a help of and funny thing of what that was another domestic issue where she was dealing with a friend of mine was dealing with her military boyfriend that was was being controlling.
Oh,
So that was just a keynote to the grass, and I met them at the Yaya's Chinese restaurant. I came home, and then what I'm saying, and I'm coughing, I'm thinking it's just like a regular cough and everything, and I just started coughing off like this bloodish, and like, and I started freaking out, so I started calling like urgent care and stuff right away, and went there to urgent care pretty much immediately that night. And just that turns out that I was like, yeah, you have like a pop blood vessel, so you're gonna have to sit back for a while and actually take medicine, and sit back and make sure that you heal properly. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool.
wow.
Looks like I'm gonna have to sit back for a while, but it only took me like at least a month or so to like recover, even so longer, because I had to like restrict myself to doing certain things, and back in the February of that time kind of like messed things up, because what I'm saying, your blood vessels, especially like when you're drinking alcohol, just like you shouldn't do that, and yeah, that kind of messed me up. So I never wanted to do that again. It's
Oh,
like on my post as well. So other than that, it was actually, it wasn't actually too bad. It wasn't anything where I dealt with like pain. It was just like
right,
when I
right.
started coughing out blood, I was just in deep concern. So luckily, I had got care for that, medicine for that, healed with that, and just went back out there.
Was that the worst injury you suffered in your career, or
Not necessarily. I mean, not necessarily. Half the time, I don't even necessarily call them like injuries. It's just things that just happen to me in occurrence. Half of the time, it's just my fault, because like sometimes I kind of lack sometimes in certain details. Not to say that I have to sit there pay attention to every detail, but sometimes to me, I kind of blame myself to put myself in a certain predicaments because I don't pay attention to certain details. So sometimes, like there was times where like I would do parkour training, and it was one time I actually shattered my eyepiece of my glass and stuff, and pretty much busted the side of my eye
Oh,
because I pretty much almost slipped on like the side of the building because they had oil on it, and it was like a 13-foot drop. But luckily, I had caught myself at the moment, but I still like busted my face nevertheless.
oh,
Then
that could have been way
then
worse. Jeez.
yeah, then it was a fight altercation that I tried to stop back in 2018, and not only I end up getting trampled over by the people that's there, but also around with the crowd that was just circling in, trying to like do wherever it was within the fight before the police got there. But even then, it's like I don't even necessarily call them injuries because even back in like 2020 when we had a Black Lives Matter rally, and I didn't really want to be known about it because, I just wanted to check out what the rally was about and everything. I wasn't really in concern of being known at that moment in time. And I didn't want to be known too much about police and presence either. At most I
Hmm.
try to keep them in alert since that was the main thing that they were kind of worrying about and stuff. And I mean, to be honest, I was kind of like trying to avoid them myself. So I was customizing like my suit at the time, Luckily, I was doing the suit testing, but then I realized like I was going really, really fast in them shoes, and to the point where like the moment I stopped, it was just like I twisted my ankle and everything.
Oh,
And it was like, yeah, it was craziness. So it just be little stupid stuff I would kind of just hurt myself over, but it wouldn't be anything like I wouldn't consider like, oh, it's a serious injury. It's just little things that happen every now and then that everybody deals with, to be honest.
so I have two questions from the chat. One, they want to know, how does the community react to you, and do you have any superpowers?
I mean, I would say the best superpower is just heart and survivability. Uh, but aside of it from that, I guess as far as what I know, as far as my age now, it's just like maybe if you probably asked me then, I would just say people did have. I mean, most overall, I would say that most people have a good view of everything, especially the way how people know me and can see me from right then and there. Um, then there's probably been at times where I've gave people in bad reviews, whether or not what I'm saying my presence just wasn't up to part with it and just pretty much inadequate, or just let alone like I would just I just messed something up. So sometimes that
Right,
wind up
right.
happening. Sometimes I got to pretty much change the view. But each and every day, I always try to do better, regardless of the situation or what outcome or what view that or the outcome is. For me, it's the bigger picture. So I always try to just do the best within my ability to be the best I can be, and help
Amazing.
others to be the best that they could be.
I
So, and that, yeah, I'm about to say in that case is just I would say in my case there's like a mixed review, but I would say the good outweighs the bad if anything.
right.
It's just I'm just glad that at least people seeing some form of the good rather than I mean I never really have a problem with people highlighting the bad or the good of the situation because to me personally is always about seeing the equivalent balance of what you're really seeing out of life, because if you don't always just seeing the good out of something, then we're not really learning the true values of what true reality is half the time. We're just only seeing the beautiful lie. So it's just, sometimes it's best to know the true transparency of what our real problems and what our real struggles are sometimes, and just showing that, hey, we're human, we are who we are, you're not alone as well,
Right, right.
we're out there. So, I think it's just, in my case, it's just in a relatable sense, the good outweighs the bad, and I'm just glad of that because, nowadays it's just everything is turned into a turmoil. It's better to be grounded than to be just looked at just in a whole good light half of the time. But in a good way, I would just say, yeah, I probably like looked at more of the good light than anything.
Wow. I have another question from the chat.
Are you gonna do Lee's question?
All right, fine. I'll do Lee's question. What are his thoughts on guys committing murder? Because I'm a superhero tour training, and I may have killed people.
You've killed like 60 people.
Uh, uh so, yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, that's a deeper right there.
You're bumming
Shoot, I
him
mean,
out.
I mean, well, If I can really narrow it down to like legal law compared to like, and I'm probably might be just going on a tangent, so I might as well just give in to like my brain nutcase brain right now. Uh, I mean, I would say just out of survivability, you can't always necessarily control the outcome of your own fate, and sometimes we have to do things to keep our own fate in check, even sometimes if it means to end someone's own. So sometimes stuff like that is just not necessarily whether it is a good thing or not. It's just a hard bar purpose of why you're doing it. When, where, how, why, stuff like that. So everything that we do all aligns by a choice. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that probably what has happened or what you have done was in the sense of possibly self-defense, or probably in the sense of like a blind sense of right or wrong, because that's usually how it is, really. Or you know if that was your really ill intent to eliminate those that either stand in your to, then that's something that you have to truly answer to yourself, like, you
Yeah.
know at what cost. Like, and then like, so the funny thing is like stuff like this is like I don't try to give out necessarily the absolute answer, but more as to like the absolute theory of choice to what to what your mind can process. Like, how can you see it in your choice to do something like that? And how can you accept that? How can you answer that on your own? Are you willing to accept that? Are you okay with that? These are the things that we all have to answer. We all have to answer it one day.
Yeah. Wow. I gotta do some soul searching. Thank you. Um, Another good question for the chat is, where did you get your suit design from? What inspired you?
Um, it was a lot of things and times. I had a devolved interest of being like gothic emo at the time. Getting to martial arts, anime, and all that other stuff. Did psychonauting before, and just a lot of these things eventually wind up incorporating to who I am today. Mostly it just hit me all at once. A lot of this took a year's process to adding little things, kind of like a Theseus paradox. It's kind of when you seeing the original product, and when you're seeing something that's been remade and renewed and just reborn out of the same thing that you made it out of, you kind of wonder if it's the same thing or it's the whole new thing. And it's really not. It's really not that deep. I just make it deep. Sorry about that, but
No worries. I love it.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, my bad. My phone is still glitchy. I'm surprised I could even do this on this phone. But like, pretty much like the suit is kind of like in a way of my own. Like, I pretty much made the suit of like my entirety of my own. But to give him reference of like physical keynotes of like how it came to be and how like interesting it is. If anybody has watched Bat in the Sun, Darth Maul versus Spider-Man, when it came out around, if I can remember correctly, around December of 2015.
Oh, the
Like the
YouTube channel.
exact clip. Yeah, yeah, yep. It
Oh
came out on
yeah, yeah.
December of 2015. Um, I think they did that in the aftermath. I'm not sure. I just remember they did that, and I guess Spider-Man won or whatnot. Um, a friend of mine, or my significant other at that time, wind up giving me a Star Wars Darth Maul skin suit, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. That's really nice." She was like, "Oh, I got it for $30." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." You know what I'm saying? A suit is a suit to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to take what I can get. I'm a looter. So, but then I realized like the suit is like off like dimensions, like it's too large and stuff. You know how like Peter wears a suit and it's like all bad. It looked exactly like that and everything. And it
Stated.
was like, okay, well, it's whatever. I mean, I could try to do something at least with it. So the funny thing is about with how I made this suit is like a very long process, because my mind is all over the place half the time. So when I first made the suit, about it was actually Project Superior, uh basically just trying to make a never second section of like my original suit, because when I had my original suit was basically like almost like a Spider-Man, almost like more of a Spider-Man type suit than my suit is now. basically like the little islands was like more like spiderish and stuff, and like web-ish because of the hot glue shit around it.
Yeah.
And it was
Is
actually, you know what I'm saying, pretty decent within the time. And I think I had a N1 jacket that I customized at that time with reflective like ribbons like on cross to the side. It's like really old. Like you'll never see that suit again. But that was like the original suit at the time before the suit that I had now, which was the Project Superior. And I didn't end up started like donning it more until around 2017 almost. Well, around like November of 2016 when I end up making a whole new mask and stuff around it. And I kind of just made that kind of just my original suit, just
is is
building
is,
stuff
is
around it.
Spider-Man your favorite superhero?
I'm not necessarily. I would say that like I actually like the superheroes, like DC superheroes, or like people like Wonder Woman, Zatanna.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. So who's your favorite?
I would say Wonder Woman. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh,
It's just
nice.
for different reasons. It's just I think more so I really don't necessarily have a favorite. It's just one of the like characters I'm digging into at the moment. It just I just realized with like within like every universe, because like I'm like so deep within like comics, not too deep. It's just I'm more like an analyst. Like I don't just sit there and like read the panels of the comics. I just know what's in there, what's not, you know what I'm saying, analyze little things there, know the multiverse of like between Marvel and DC and stuff like that. So there's like so many possibilities, and I pretty much just enjoy like overall the ideology or the relatability of
Hmm.
just the universes in general. So, half of the time I just really don't have a favorite. It's just what I can take in context or what reality that I choose to set myself in.
That's interesting. Uh,
So when we were creeping on you, we noticed you had supervillains in your DMs, and we got a picture of this skull masked dude with two guns who was messaging you, I guess trying to egg you on. Can you elaborate what happened there? Like, was this a common thing that kept happening to you?
Um, Well, it's kind of like more so common, but like I guess with like how naive I am, I normally don't like keep attentive or attention to stuff like that because like I guess like even though I'm like a guy in a suit that's kind of like off basis of reality, I'm kind of grounded when it comes to like nemesis and sidekicks and stuff. I don't really enjoy that. Just be who you are. If you don't like me, then do something. If you want to be beside me, then be beside me. So it's just like I just don't believe in that whole sidekick nemesis villain trope. Yeah, it's fun when you're actually like playing a whole game basis to it, but really it's like half of the time you can tell that usually wherever people are just doing it to get something pretty much out of you, just basically clout, just basically like just to add themselves into the picture. So it's just like I kind of already see right through that. So it's just like okay, I'm just not going to entertain that. And I kind of procrastinate certain little things anyway, so it like kind of already helps in my favor and not egging them on. So normally half the time I don't even really give them the time of the day. So it's just like that just completely is like out of my memory.
did they ever
So
try to fight you
but
in the streets?
yeah, I do have people that would still like try to hit me up, whether it be like people like cosplayers, or I don't know whether they're cosplayers or just want to be tried to be cosplayers, because they some of the people to me half of the time are just regular people that just come out the blue, wanted to start something out of seeing something half the time. It's just that's how your brain stems off sometimes. You're like, hey, that should be me sometimes. Like, let me start something. Let me add my 2 cents in. And that's how we got people like opinions working in the in the head when it comes to these like social media and stuff like that. It's just the same equivalence as that, only it's half of the time is like in person. So it's just
Oh,
like it's just hilarious to me half the time. And then the stuff that is online is just I keep in data of it half the time, but it's just like I don't really focus. Like I don't let it hyper focus to the point where it gets me down or just be like, oh my god, this is a what I'm saying. It's just kind of one of those things where I laugh at it because it's like, wow, what I'm saying. You think that you can get the good end of everything, but there's not always necessarily what it seems. And sometimes you got to really look at the good and the bad outcomes, because you're gonna have to realize that there's people that not gonna understand what you do really,
right.
whether it's a service or anything. It's just people are not going to understand that until you really show out that bigger picture. So
Right.
it's just stuff like that. It just I normally know. I mean, it's just like I acknowledge them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's cool that y'all do stuff like that, but if you think I'm gonna give you that satisfaction of attention, then you're sadly mistaken. You're gonna be left on like the message request for like 5 years later. You're gonna be
God
stuck in
damn.
like Squidward's future when he's like finding the future with the time machine. Like you're gonna be stuck like that, messing around with me being a nemesis.
Oh, you touched upon the psychic thing, and that's another thing I noticed. You had a doppelganger. What were they like your psychic, or did you guys alternate? What's the story
Uh,
behind that?
well, it was just like I would say technically, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's like my words is just I need to like add more meaning to those. But like it was a time where like I do have a few friends, and within my time where there's only been a very few that's actually worn my suits. I never like usually it's weird for anybody to wear your an actual suit, but there has been times where like either I wanted to train them or just, you know what I'm saying, they actually just been rolling with me. I keep them close with them in my life and stuff. And I still have them in my life. And those are really the only people that's actually worn my suits. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things, really, honestly. It's just kind of one of those simple answers.
All right, no worries. Uh, what does your family? Is your family aware that you do this? What are their thoughts on it?
I would say they semi know. Um, and I would say that's kind of like majority of the people because after I kind of just went on this heinous, like yes, they did know and they was pretty proud of me when gets blown out on the news or whatnot. But like after my whole haters and stuff, what I'm saying, dealing with my own issues, what I'm saying, that kind of was pulling the whole, which what I'm saying, we're not really caring about that. So it's just like I kind of had this like whole reset in a way where people kind of just in a way forgot. I mean, not forget about me, but you know what I'm saying? If they kind of knew who I was, they pretty much forgot. It was just like a snap of a finger, everybody almost forgot. So, and then it's like my grandparents or my parents never really had brung it up. So it's just like, okay, it's like, did they forget or just like one of those things like they just really don't care about it? Me, I assume that they really don't care about it. So, even if I was to do it, yay me. But I've done still doing little things where it's just like I kind of been put on the radar, and they probably have seen it, but they just never really saying anything about it. So I can't really put that self in doubt. But if anything, I'm pretty sure whether they know that I'm still doing it or not, they probably would be proud of me regardless. Because it's better to be proud of the sense of action of doing something of the right thing or just being yourself than to not.
Wow, yeah, I agree. A lot of people are scared to be themselves as they, and it's really sad. Everyone should be themselves.
Except for you. You look weird.
Okay, all right, that's you're just being rude. Um, okay, I got one more question. I got two more questions.
Wait, I got one question. Did you ever have any girls like want to hook up with you with the costume on? Huh?
Okay, that's inappropriate. You don't have to answer that. You don't want to. I'm just gonna find another question.
It's like a Mandy adventure. You don't have to answer that. Have, but I just have strict rules of certain codes where I just don't do certain things. Like there's things that I would say that I probably condone that I shouldn't condone, but only in moderation of certain responsibilities of being who we are. Like if we're adults trying to do certain things in response, in moderation and responsibility, we should take it as that. We shouldn't step out of those bounds. When we step out of those bounds, we break our code, we break everything. It's like, what are you doing this for?
Wow, yeah, that's a good point. So I got two more questions for you. If there was a movie based on your life, who would you like to see play you, and who would you like to see direct it?
That's so nerdy. God, you're such a nerd.
Actually, that's actually a really hard one. Um, but I mean, it really wouldn't be a hard task considering that, like, pretty much my life is kind of like this roller coaster. I would say it wouldn't be any different comparisons to now the superhero movies that we're making today, like where how we're now seeing these superheroes either just in this failing turmoil or just falling. So it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily even hard like for any director to really tap into it. I guess it's all about like keeping the purpose of what it was in the first place, and I guess differentiating between all the superhero movies to like make sure that okay, this is not just like Invincible or something like that. It's kind of like something what we can see from a Marvel or DC comic, but is actually really real. Like this is actually going on. And I'm not saying I'm like the only one that actually deal with this. I'm pretty sure that there's people that call themselves either RLSH or whatnot, which, in a way I don't associate, but at the same time they still exist. They deal with these problems too at home. They deal with these problems even within amongst their own communities, whether they sue out or not. That's just the reality of when you deal with society half of the time. You're gonna deal with the balance of these constructs, whether it's going to be good or bad for you. You're going to have to face that.
Right. All right. Wow. My final question is, what advice would you give to a starting superhero?
Turn yourself in. You've committed so many crimes.
Okay.
I mean, the key thing is just being yourself and never never let certain risks stop you from pursuing your dreams. I mean, and I know that's kind of not necessarily just the whole thing of just, I guess, being a superhero, but I guess just mainly being yourself, because in the end, I mean, as far as what the title is cool and all, but when you really think about it, why do you have to call yourself a superhero? Why do you have to call yourself these things? And like, what is there to really prove unless there's like something you already striving hard or working hard to prove? It just the key thing is enjoying your passions and what you're doing. I mean, maybe I'm just speaking in the right side of the brain. That's just, I guess, for most of us, it is passion, but and then for most of us, it is some type of code or dedication to what we're doing. But regardless of whether one of those, we must follow that and stay true to that. And as long as we have that, that should be fair and square. The moment we lose that concentration, we don't even know who we are anymore. There's already many people already losing themselves in a form of trying to fill the void of trying to be everything else other than what they could be.
Huh. Interesting. Wow. Well, I don't want to take any more of your time, so you can let the people watching or where you're up to. If there's anything you want people to check out, any donations, anything like that, this is your time to give a shout out to you and what you're all about, sir.
Well, luckily I'm not the one to be out here asking for handouts, but I'm out here making music again. I actually do music pretty much. I'm kind of like an interpersonal DJ. I do different mixes and stuff within the points of time. So if you guys like to check those out, I make different samples and master mixes. Uh, be sure to check out my SoundCloud. The name is actually pretty simple. Really, it's not like a biggest Widowster or stuff like that. It's actually just called Widow Wave. Like you get like Vapor Wave, Stein Wave.
Oh,
It's basically
nice.
Widow Wave RDO. Basically like Widow Wave Radio. And pretty much I just have my own like little music there and there. And as you know, and as you follow me also from there, you can also follow me on Instagram for more updates. I'm pretty much just all the stuff that I'm posting as to right then and there is the reason why we're having this interview. Is pretty much all reposting of like my current or previous timelines of the stuff that I've done all the way to at least till I get to this new updated timeline of 2023, because it's just like, oh my god, it's like a lot of stuff. So
Yeah,
it's just
you're gonna
basically
be there a
because
while, dude.
I've had an account that I pretty much deleted, that I just pretty much wiped my whole progress. So now I'm just pretty much
Oh,
started over
gotcha.
again with a good purpose and something clean and everything there is to see. So it's not anything that's like I'm just posting and then keeping aside. You guys get to see everything. So it's actually pretty amazing. You guys get the whole story of what the dates are and pretty much all the way to now. So I cannot wait till I finish all that, and pretty much just there's a lot of stuff coming in, and pretty sure everybody that's seen me on YouTube. So also be sure to check out that. Also got a YouTube channel, but I really don't care about that. So I really don't care if anybody checks that out or not. But I hope everybody has had a wonderful and fantastic night, because now it's not nighttime, it's not evening anymore, like I said earlier. But I hope everybody's having a great and fantastic night. I'm gonna go ahead and get these samples going and up. I'm not gonna talk y'all to death. So you guys take care.
They all like you. A lot of people said the world is lucky to have people like you, my guy. Keep doing the good work. Agreed, actual good guy for Love King. My favorite people feels a little refreshed. Very nice guy. Everyone thinks you're great. Thank you so much for coming on the last Respawn show, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You take care, okay?
Yes, sir. You have a wonderful day. Everyone has a wonderful day.
You too.